When discovering these new faculties, I became intensely interested in being a witness of events. I could see everything right before me.
It's difficult to imagine that images would just pass before you. Visions are essentially illusory. We cannot admit their reality even though we see them. The sense of impossibility ought to have caused doubt.
That was my position. It was impossible to deny what I saw and equally impossible to admit it.
But tell me, how does this experience occur? How does this reverse journey or retrogression in space enable you to see events in an order inverse to that in which they took place?
The theory is very simple. Suppose you set out from the Earth with a velocity exactly equal to that of light. You would always have with you the appearance that the Earth assumed at the moment you set out.
I already understood this in our first conversation.
Well, suppose now that you travel from Earth with a velocity superior to light. What will happen? As fast as you advance into space, you will see the rays that set out before you. They will be the successive photographs which from second to second, from instant to instant, project their rays into space. Here then we have a series of terrestrial photographs imprinted in space at various distances, one after another. Now, suppose that we find between these centennial photographs, annual photographs, between which we should have those of every day, of every hour, of every minute, and every second, all succeeding one another. We shall have, in a ray of light, the aerial register of the history of the Earth. We could see again all the events that have ever occurred. All that is needed for this is to be at the proper distance from the world.
If the ray which leaves the Earth is never destroyed, all our actions are then eternal.
Certainly they are. An act once accomplished can never be effaced. Its photograph would last eternally, projected in the darkness of space. It remains an eternal present.
It's terrifying to think that the present is irreversible. What did you feel as you traveled through space?
I felt there was no more horizon. No closed circle. No given reference.
I had thought over this phenomenon, this experience. But the physical difficulty seemed to me enormous.
Airline pilots have been trained for some time by flight simulators, which reproduce in a laboratory all the conditions of flying. The scene is designed to respond accordingly to their manipulation of controls. The replica is made to be, in effect, real.
Does this explain your power over visions?
Light is the substance of which I am made. Light is a river that carries me along, but I am light.
You mean to say that there is no distinction between what you see and what you are?
I mean, I am driven by it.
But suppose this phenomenon was also an instrument. Imagine that I could make images from the Earth to a star by employing the light, for example. 100 years must come and go before the signal from the Earth could reach its destination. And the response could only return after the same interval of time had elapsed. The terrestrial observer would have died long before its signal could have reached its sidereal observer. Is there a response?
What you propose would be in fact a conversation between the living and the dead?
I only see messages lost, casual witnesses.
A witness is a martyr.
Often, in our former conversations, you have talked to me about the strength of the will.
Go to the top of a mountain and fix upon a map the respective positions of all the summits surrounding you in that circular panorama. This constructed map could only serve for the place from where it was drawn. Now transport yourself 10 miles further. The same summits are visible, but their respective positions in regard to each other is different. This results in a change in perspective.
The arrangement of visions would vary, always determined by your direction, your decisions. Your response is meaningless to me. You record, you calculate, you draw conclusions on what you see. But I suspect you miss numerous episodes. The remainder is naturally unknown.
This remainder is immense. And all you know at present will seem to be nothing by comparison. It does not exist for you.
Your revelations, Lumen, are awful. Not only do my senses not perceive the physical movements, but they still left perceive the movements of the moral world.
I should be delighted, my old friend, to enlighten you on this point, if it were possible for me to do so. But reflect for a moment. and you will see that the laws of perspective forbid me.
Of perspective. You mean to say of politics?
No, of perspective. Although these things do strongly resemble one another. In seeing men from the height of heaven, I do not see them as they appear to the vulgar eye. From the heavens, we see men geometrically, from above, not face to face. That is to say, when they are standing, we have only a horizontal projection of them.
Roads of light. Great conspirators.
Well, they at least widen your visions.
The rhythm of life, the future, is in your hands.
Yes, you are right. Are you one of the many worrying about the future?
The present keeps me busy.
Our privileges will disappear. A good thing, too. When I was young, I imagined a world like this and set out to create such a future.